Most men spend their entire lives trying to prove that they're worthy. To women, to the world, and ultimately to themselves. But deep down, that burden isn't about success or failure. It usually ties to a very deep subconscious wound that they're not even aware of. And that is the mother wound. A boy's first experience typically of love, affection, and reflection is from his mother. And if that love feels conditional, as it most of the time does, it's based on performance, being a good little boy, the child learns that I must earn love. This is the most important thing to me. It's basically oxygen. And this becomes the seed of the masculine burden of always feeling like you need to produce and get results in order to be worthy of love. So as a man grows, he externalizes this wound. And the cop-out usually is saying that it's because of ambition, when 9 times out of 10, it's not because of ambition. It's the fear of not being enough and requiring external validation to have some semblance of peace that you are okay. I would go as far as to say that the most ambitious men in the world all suffer from this wound unconsciously. And chances are, if they were to see this, it would still be unconscious. They would think that this is bullshit. But the unconscious is called the unconscious for a reason. Carl Jung called this feminine aspect the enema. And when the emena, the feminine within you, is unintegrated, then it will always manifest externally as the need to chase validation through some kind of accomplishment. If she approves of me, then I'm worthy. If the world thinks that I'm great, then I know for sure that I'm enough. Look at all this evidence of my external achievement. The world can't deny how incredible I am. Awesome. I've got the internal validation. I know for a fact now, look at all this evidence of my worthiness for love. But that kingdom is always going to be built on sand. On the surface, it's hustle, it's ambition, it's drive, but underneath is desperation. If I don't succeed, then I'm not worthy of love. It's very easy as a man to confuse strength with the need to prove yourself. But I have found that over the years that real strength is presence without the need of having to prove anything at all. Transcending the feeling of you always have to be performing in order to be, once again, worthy of love. I have really dissected my journey up until this point, specifically with my music career. And I still remember to this day, growing up, even my desire to make music, it started with just loving music, loving creativity, but then the compliments started coming in. The mother being like, oh, your voice is so wonderful. Oh, you're doing such a good job. And while it's good, right? Positive reinforcement, they mean well. It creates within us this addiction for this validation, which when we're children, we perceive, we think that that's love. So I'm not blaming our parents. I'm not blaming your mother. And if you had a mother who was over the top, traumatized you, was maybe overbearing, the devouring mother archetype that Carl Jung talks about, then the first step I would say is definitely forgive your mother. This isn't to shit on mothers by any means. I think they're doing the best that they can. But a lot of times, most moms, they will let their 40-year-old son live with them for as long as he wants because she loves her baby, not realizing the deep, deep damage that she's doing by empowering this behavior of not encouraging or forcing a man, rather, to go out and do his own thing. Mothers always mean well, but it doesn't change the fact that most men still have a mother wound within them. So reflecting on the music stuff, I had to get to a point where I realized that, wow, I'm doing this music thing for the wrong reasons. It's not because of creativity. It's not because something wants to be created from within me. I'm chasing validation. And once I let that aspect go, then I was finally able to enjoy music again, and actually more doors started opening up because I was moving from that genuine place. So this inner wound, this mother wound, doesn't mean that men are broken. It just means that something is out of place. Something isn't properly integrated. So to heal the inner feminine, a couple tools, a couple perspectives to have that will help you. We oftentimes talk about loving yourself, but what does that look like? In a lot of ways, it's a self-nurturance. You learn how to get intuitive with what you need, just like a mother would, but you learn how to be this energy for yourself. So to this day, I'm very sensitive and in tune with what my body, what my spirit needs. There are days where I don't do any technical work at all, but I'm taking walks, I'm meditating, I'm reading, I'm eating good nutritious food, I'm hydrating. There's this energy, this motherly nurturance inside of me. And every single one of us has that somewhere beneath all of the ambition, beneath all of the need to accomplish and produce in order to feel worthy of love. When you get rid of that, when you're able to see through that, then that inner nurturance starts to shine through, and your need for external feminine validation becomes less and less. Another thing is allowing emotion, the whole thing that you have to feel it to heal it. That's why I talk so much about Dr. David Hawkins' book, Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender. Men really need this book. They need to learn how to feel everything without judging, without modifying it, without trying to change it. And from the full presence of feeling that, that's how it's transmuted. And that's very different than holding on to a victim story or latching on to thoughts that create a narrative about the feeling. You don't need that at all. But when the emotions are there, you need to honor them, you need to feel them fully, so that way you don't have all these emotional blockages causing you to take actions in your life and pursue things that you would never pursue otherwise if you didn't have all these blockages and inner wounds. In a lot of ways, finding worthiness comes from a state of being, not doing. Okay, we're constantly doing so that way we can have something and then we can finally be. But it's the opposite. You have to find the inner truth of who you are. And then from being, you will start doing certain things that are in alignment with your being, and then as a result, you will have the things that are in alignment with who you truly are. Not with what the world tells you you should want or who you should be, but who you actually are. And if this sounds complicated, this is why they call it inner work. It is a process. So watching this video is a great place to start, just to start to contemplate these things, to look within yourself. So let go of the burden of how having to prove yourself is a masculine trait. What it is an unhealed wound, a very, very common unhealed wound. Most of us can't even imagine what it would be like to live without that wound, but I'm telling you right now, it's possible. A great tool, a great question to ask yourself that would be really helpful, that has helped me a lot personally, is in any given moment, whenever you are doing something, if you have a moment of consciousness, a moment of presence where you realize you're wrapped up in your thoughts and you're not in the moment. If you have a moment like that, ask yourself right here and now, am I proving or am I creating? So right now, even making this video, am I trying to prove something or am I moving from a place of creation? And I know that the answer is I'm trying to create something. I'm trying to create this piece of content that is going to serve humanity, in a sense, that will serve a handful of men who are in this place that are ready to look within themselves. Even if you have a job right now that you don't necessarily love, that maybe you feel like is boring or it's crushing your soul, even in that, you can ask yourself, am I in the energy of proving or creating? And man, I've had a whole slew of jobs. I've worked in cubicles, I've worked retail jobs, sales, all kinds of things that felt very mundane to me, that I didn't love. But looking back, I remember that there were times where I was in this energy of full presence of how can I be authentically who I am? How can I give 110% to this task that's in front of me and do it in a way that's different from everyone else, that's individual to me? And that in and of itself is the energy of creation rather than proving. You often hear that human beings were made in the image of God. But the reason why that's said is because of this power of creation. You are meant to create, my friend. You are not meant to just simply achieve or move towards a goal. You're meant to go within yourself and ask what wants to be birthed, right? Very feminine word for something to be born. What wants to be birthed through me? What wants to be created? And when you become very sensitive to that, then your whole reality, your whole world, the way that you operate changes. So I want you to practice giving yourself love in a very nurturing way without achievement. Even if you didn't achieve anything today, all right? Practice that energy of unconditional love towards yourself. The same love that you would give your child if you had a son or a daughter. Because at the end of the day, that innocence is still inside of you. It's just hidden. It's covered up in layers of adulthood and what we think masculinity is. I think it was Carl Jung who said something along the lines of the highest stage of self-development is once you have developed the ego and you've got all this knowledge and maybe some wisdom, learning how to get back to your childhood innocence and then integrating the wisdom that you have now from living in the world and integrating that wisdom with the childhood innocence that was always with you. It was with you from the start. Integrating this feminine energy, you'll be able to live life and have more moments of childlikeness. Not childishness, right? Because yeah, we've still got responsibilities, all that, but a childlikeness. There's a lightness there. When you hear the word enlightenment, everything's just lighter. And healing this mother wound and integrating the inner feminine is a massive part of this. So to wrap it up, just remember this. A man heals his mother wound, not by proving himself to women or the world, but by becoming the mother to his own soul, nurturing, accepting, and loving himself into wholeness. And this is what the divine feminine is. But understand, of course, you've got the other polarity inside of you too. You've got the divine masculine. So learning how to integrate both these things in a very balanced way will make you very powerful in this world. And when I say powerful, I mean powerful. I don't mean forceful, but powerful, like a mountain. Like a mountain on top of a chaotic ocean. They come together, they're fully integrated. That's all I got for you today. One final thing, if you are interested in any kind of coaching or mentoring, I do offer a 3-month one-on-one program right now. I'm very selective with who I work with because I can only work with so many people, so I like to make sure that it is aligned. But if that interests you, click the link below. You can fill out the application. We'll hop on a discovery call, see if it's a good fit. Please let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts or any questions about this. I love the conversations that happen in the comments. You are loved, you matter, and you've barely scratched the surface of what you're capable of. I'll talk to you soon.